This program features live coverage of an African safari and may include animal kills and carcasses. Viewer discretion is advised.
Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome on safari this afternoon. We're at Djuma. We're just starting with this greater blue-eared starling down this drainage line. Oh, it just flew away. But welcome. My name's John T. We got Craig on the camera, and this is the type of spots that we want to be checking this afternoon to see what we can find. Just for everyone who watched this morning, when we did leave Kachava and the cub, we did see Thandi. She was lying on that termite mound. So I think Chris is going to probably make that some of his plan this afternoon to go that side. We'll kind of swap a little bit. So I look forward to see what he finds. But as always, please send in any questions and comments you have. We do love getting them while we're live. And use the hashtag WildEarth on Twitter, at FC on YouTube. And if you're under the age of 18, pop us a mail on kidsequestions@wildearth.tv. You can register on the WildEarth website. Head over to the live safari page and you can submit your questions there. So this is the drainage line that runs sort of behind the camp. When we came back this morning, we checked quarantine and that old lioness was not in the same spot. So I just wanted to check Gallagher Pan, which is what I've done. No sign, so I'm going to go around and check Djuma Dam and see if we can see any sign of where she's gone. So let's go. We decided to put the roof on. It looked a bit more ominous, the weather this afternoon. It's so funny, I've got such a thing against the roofs. Obviously, when it's raining, you're happy it's on. But if it's not raining, I almost feel like there's someone hovering over me. Not cool. So we were just discussing I was actually chatting with Darby now, before we went on drive, we wonder if Kachava would move off, if Thandi did smell it, would she go feed on the remains of the carcass? Or would Kachava stay there? Because remember, there wasn't a lot left. So it will be quite cool for Chris to see how that's all played out. While we loop around to check Djuma Dam, you're going to have a look at the weather this afternoon.
I zoom with. Good afternoon, everybody, and you on board live with Wendy. And we've a conundrum on our hands here. This bird is too far for us to positively ID either a martial eagle or a black-chested snake eagle. Trying to sort of veer towards the martial eagle, but we'll try and figure it out just now. My name is Chris, and with us today on CamOps is David. And our plan today is to do a slow little bumble towards Chitwa and investigate what's happening at that carcass where Kachava was seen, if they're still around. Now, this bird, what I'm going to do quickly is okay, well, there it goes. Now, that's a black-chested snake eagle. All right, I just saw that chest there. Lovely. Right, so that's done. All right, without further ado, join us on this bumble towards Chitwa today. Now I saw when it lifted up, I could see that. Hi, lazy boy. Yep, that's exactly what we're gonna do. Let's bumble. Well, yeah, our broader plan obviously would be to find Kuchava. There was reports of Tundi in that immediate vicinity, so either one of the two will work. Yeah, and there's obviously been some Mahina activity around them. And then it would be amazing to see Kuchava's cub, because I've not seen her. I don't know if it's a male or female, but I haven't seen it. So that will be another new leopard for me to meet. I only got probably about a week about a week left of this shift, so I'm gonna try and make the best of it. So please send us as many questions in this next week. Anything that you want to know. Except my bank details. Not gonna give that out. Oof, there was a very stinky elephant poo there. It's definitely looks like a herd of elephants that was moving through here. It's probably the ones we saw earlier this morning. And that's very fresh. You can get that. You smell it. Alright, so while we are in transit to our first destination, which is Twin Dams, let's go over to Jonty, who's also on a bumble. Yes. That elephant had a...
We're at a peculiar angle. We're coming down to Djuma Dam, but I just want to pick one of these flowers. I'm just going to take my earpiece off quickly. I want to make like a bundle. I mentioned the other day that my daughter was loving flowers. So I want to make, can you see this? It's a beautiful orange flower that's everywhere at the moment. I'm sure Chris has probably spoken about it in JP as well, but this is called a lion's eye. It's really, really beautiful. It reminds me, the first place where I learned about this flower was at Ngala. It was probably one of the first flowers that I learned because it's so bright and easy to remember. And at the same time, there was a pride of lions there called the Lamula Pride. And the lead lioness had very, very orange eyes. So like I had this instant connection. But yeah, I just want to I'm going to make like a little collection of some of the wild flowers as we drive around this afternoon and just keep showing them to the screen, and we'll see how it grows and how much color we can get in here. Hopefully I don't know if Amelia is watching, but maybe someone will screenshot the bouquet as it grows. But this, I suppose I could point it out for Craig's sake. I'm just going to lean over here, Craig. This is a white berry bush, and you can see just in front of my finger here, these green little berries, they will actually they'll turn white, and they're edible. We can eat them, but it's giving off such a great, like a sweet smell. As we drove through here, Craig noticed it straight away. He says it's one of his favorite smells in the bush. And when those fruits are ready, like green pigeons, love it in there. Very, very cool. I also like eating those little white berries. Okay. Yeah, it's looking so good at the moment. It's especially coming out of winter, when you get used to everything just being brown. And now you just get this complete flush of green, the flowers that are everywhere, even the contrast between the animals and the green, it's really, really striking. There's some Minyala on the far side of the dam. I'm just going to stop up here. It looks a bit flat, the light at the moment with all these clouds. So from here my plan is to go back around to just go double check the last spot where that lioness was, just make sure that she hadn't maybe moved not far and sort of lying down under a bush. But for now we'll just chill at Djuma Dam for a few minutes. Just enjoy the scene.
Right. So let's do a bumble. See what's up. It's worked in the past, no reason why it wouldn't work now. Just slowly tagging along. Just checking everything around us. There seems to be some elephants around here somewhere. Not sure where. It's difficult to see which way their tracks went. But we'll try, we'll see. I'm just going to go through a little dip. You might lose my signal there for a moment. Are you there? Anyway, so we tend to lose signal. Let's take this road. Let's check it out. Those elephants I saw was somewhere around here this morning, and I can smell them around here. Then we can take our other cut line on the way down. How about that? And sometimes you're lucky and sometimes you're not. You're lucky and sometimes you're not. Nice little ride, wasn't it?
So we just started moving and we spotted this little water monitor, just busy sort of basking on this log. But what's funny, you could see over its head, you could see there's a second one. Look at its little hand there. It's like it's holding out a little high five. Help. They would definitely prefer it if there was a bit more sun on them at the moment. But they can't be picky. I saw the other night on dam cam someone spotted a snake, but I'm not 100% sure where they were zooming in on. But it was quite tricky to see. I need to have another look at the video. It looked like a tiger snake, but Now, this type of weather might also be good for some of snakes like puff adders, because there's often like a lot of frog activity. I'm just watching those Inyala. What are they doing? Those Inyala that we were watching that were pretty relaxed. Don't know if it was just the arrival of the male that made the females book out. Bertie, the one we're looking at now is probably between 30 and 40 centimeters long. It's not quite half a meter. What's crazy is that it could grow to like sort of over 1.5 meters. So it could get much bigger. It's quite a good spot there. They're basking out like that in the open and exposed. So there's certain birds that would definitely catch them. But if they were to spot danger, they would just shoot off that log into that complete scramble of branches and thorns into cover. I'm going to leave this monitor here. I want to go around to that other viewpoint and look back at the dam from the other side. These lizards they got quite a big range of things that they eat. I mean, they'll catch and eat snakes, they'll eat small birds, frogs, lizards. You see them eating insects. Sometimes if you're lucky, you'll find they'll dig out. They've got like a bit of a thing for crocodile eggs. They'll dig up crocodile nests and eat the eggs. They'll eat birds' eggs, all the birds that sort of live around the edge of these water sources. A lot of those birds will lay their eggs on the ground. And if the monitor manages to find them, they seem to love an egg. Okay, I'm going to move around to that. It's the thing with the Land Rover, you can never sneak away. You push the clutch in and it just squeaks. I just want to go to that other spot over there, closer to sort of where the dam cam is, just a nicer view across the dam. I just also want to look into the far side, give it a bit of a scan with binoculars. That's the area where Shasha moved through a couple days ago. It could be wishful thinking. While we move around to scope out Djuma Dam, you're going to head over to Chris and see what he's busy doing.
I am just bumbling around on a very bumpy road at the moment. Wendy's been quite a mood lately. It's just like extra bumpy. Probably gonna have to go for some Cairo when I go on holiday. Right, so I'm just checking out on this eastern part of the drainage if those elephants didn't come here. I'm not going to spend too much time driving around just for the ellies. We want to try and get down to Chitwa. Obviously, we're not going to race there. We want to give their own guides time to view that leopard. It's just part of our arrangement with them. You know, otherwise, you know, we don't want to jeopardize the good relationship we have with them. So that enables us to take our time to get down there. Don't have to race down there. You know what, maybe we'll even find our own leopard. Ellies have been walking. I can see their tracks every now and then. Very difficult conditions for tracking this. Thick grass with a lot of dead moribund matter underneath, so you can't really see imprints there. And then on the road, it's relatively hard and now compacted with the rain as well. So it's not a little dust layer or sandy layer where you can see some really good imprints. Let's check the cut line. Maybe they're along the cut line. You never know. Also wondering where the two male lions have disappeared to from yesterday. They're just thin air, gone. No tracks, nothing. Like they teleported. Hello there, Jackie. Firstly, some good sunlight at an angle, early morning, late afternoon, because it illuminates a track, that contrast that you get, you know. And then your substrate, you know, here we've got soils derived from granite, so it's often a very coarse, sandy soil, so it doesn't always leave a clear imprint of the track. Other areas you might have higher clay content. And as it dries out, it leaves this thin layer of dust on it, even on the grass, and that you can easily use. You see a clear imprint and a clear trail. Obviously, in places like the Kalahari, it was, I won't say easier, but there was a clear trail because you're in that thick sand, so the trail was always clear. So the question is, are you on the correct trail? Because the definition of the track is not so well there, but the track itself, like you can see the indentations quite well, but whether, you know, it's a specific animal you're tracking, every now and then you have to just find a patch where it's a clear print to, okay, this is still the animal I'm following, you know. But I loved tracking in the Kalahari. We used to, in the winter months, track aardvark and pangolin on foot in daytime, especially in very cold, dry winters. They tend to come out in daytime due to for food reasons, basically. So that was quite exciting. Often tracked some cheetah on foot there as well, even lions. Lovely place. Another place where I've really enjoyed to track was in the Eastern Kruger, along the Lobomba Mountains there. Just lovely areas. All right. It's not every day we get a warthog that is not running at obscene speeds. A couple of young ones. Oh, there's a little piglet. I'm sure I saw a piglet there, was it not? There you go. Hi there, Sam. I've often seen them alongside impalas. In this case, they're all just attracted to the short new regrowth. We're on Chitakatlan, so it's a fire break that has been burned prior to the rainy season. About a 50, 60 meter wide stretch has been burned as a fire break. And when you have rain, the grasses that emerge, there's beautiful, juicy, green, fresh, soft grasses. And they just happen to be attracted to the same spots for now. They don't compete that much. They don't pose any danger to each other, so they happily sort of mingle or associate, and they can even benefit from it. The impalas might be a little bit higher than them, better plane of view, so it's more animals that can be on the lookout for predators, since they're both very high on the list. Little biggie. Right, just gonna have a quiet moment with these impala and warthogs. This is a beautiful scene. Let's just watch how they enjoy those fresh grass shoots. Something about animals grazing, eh? Really calming. Very few people know that there's in fact not only one type of warthog in Africa, but two. The common warthog, which is the one you see here and throughout most of southern and east Africa. But in the far north, sort of Somalia and some parts of the sort of southern parts of the dry areas between the Sahara Desert and the rainforest, you get the dry arid belt called the Sahel. Up there you get the desert warthog. They look very, very similar. There's not much physical differences, but genetically they are different, and they are recently been classified as different species. I've never seen the desert warthog, so only photos of it. But they do look identical. Northern Kenya, Somalia, Ethiopia. Good day, Jackson, and she wants to know if warthogs is an easy catch for leopards. They can be, and they can also be one of the most difficult. They can run very fast, don't get me wrong. If they can detect a stalking leopard in time, and the leopard can't get close enough before it starts its run, they will outrun it very quickly. Remember, leopards have very low stamina, so they can only do a short, quick burst of speed. Therefore, they have to stalk like within meters of their prey. And then again, those tusks are formidable weapons. They're probably more important, the lower ones, which you don't always see. They are the ones that are razor sharp as they grind against the upper ones. And they can inflict some serious wounds. But I have seen warthogs being taken by leopard, and often. But I've seen a big male warthog chase an adult male leopard away. When he realized he was being stalked, he turned around and he started charging this leopard. And the leopard thought, no, this is not worth it, and it ran. And I've seen, big warthog males also been taken by leopards. It's all about surprise. If they can surprise that warthog, they'll get it. Hello, Amber. Well, then we'll sit here for a little bit longer and enjoy them. Amber says she loves watching warthogs. Hi, Janet. Phew, that's a tricky one. I'm probably not going to be able to answer that because they're relatively common everywhere where they occur. In fact, so much so that there's probably more warthogs outside of conservation areas than inside. I mean, I can tell you that the area that I'm from, it's the same type of woodlands that you find up here. Remember this whole Limpopo province of ours, from here in the east all the way to the west, 500-600 kilometers across, is bushveld just like this. Maybe slightly different terrain in terms of, But I mean, we see the same type of bush where my dad's cattle ranch is. And I mean, there I see a lot more warthogs than I see here. And that's purely because things like lions, probably spotted hyenas, and those animals have long time being eliminated by people who live there. As a result of human expansion. I mean, it was inevitable. So their natural predator profile has decreased. So therefore, they just breed out of control in that area. So I would probably say those areas probably have a higher density of warthogs than the wilderness areas that we've got here. But no, they are relatively common wherever they still occur. And even here, where you've got all the predators, I mean, we see them often. It's just getting them on camera is often the problem. Hi, Jesse. Yeah, I don't know the exact speed, but I would judge probably about around 50 k's an hour, kilometer. Trying to think now. And we oh, quick guess. About 50. I'll try and see if I can check in one of my books and get you the exact speed. They don't always give us these things in books. You have to like search for it. Seems like the literature says yeah, about 48 kilometers an hour, so I was very close. Yeah, I said 55. I mean, to give you an idea, next time you're driving your car and don't do it while you're driving, be the passenger. Drive 50 kilometers an hour and just look at the ground and see how fast that is. And imagine that, warthog running next to you. Shame, it's probably the only little piglet left of this litter. It's normally up to about 5 or 6 of them, but those babies do get taken by quite a lot of things. So this is one of those scenes you can just sit here for an hour. Hi there, Debbie. Again, just dipping into that. Not too long. It's probably about. It's a couple of weeks. They start grazing at around 2 weeks that I know, but they win for a while. Probably up to about 6 months. They'll still suckle a little bit, but it's like a lot of these herbivores where initially they'll obviously be totally on milk, but within 2 weeks they start eating solid food and systematically increase the solids and also decrease their milk intake. But it's up to about 6 months that they nurse them. Also cooperative breeders in that sense, where I've also seen females in a sounder like this, if they lose the mums. They might even actually adopt some of the other piglets. But even while they're still alive, they often suckle from other mothers as well. This behavior is called allosucking or allosuckling. Yeah, they wean at 6 months, that's correct. Totally. Sometimes earlier. Well, that was a lot of fun, I tell you that.
Yeah, warthogs are such little characters. I've just come back up onto quarantine. We want to do just double check that last position where we saw that old lioness from the Talamati pride. It has been nice and cool the whole day, so she might have moved off sort of after we left her this morning and continued calling and trying to catch up with the rest of the pride. But I can see there's a wildebeest out here and some impala a bit further out, so if she is there, they haven't seen her. I'm just stopping here so you can have a look at this wildebeest. So the direction the wildebeest is facing, that lioness was like 60 meters away on that road. That's where we left her. So we're just sitting up on quarantine. We're not far from where we left that lioness this morning. Not far at all. I mean, I can see where we left her. And I haven't seen any tracks leaving the area, but we're just enjoying watching this wildebeest out in the open. It still must be so ridiculous. I haven't seen it yet, but to see the migration in the Masai Mara, to see that many wildebeest must just be completely mind-blowing. You can see how low down this male wildebeest is feeding. So they do complement the grazers sort of complement each other. The zebras eat the grass at a slightly higher point, and then the wildebeest come through and they go for the shorter grass. I don't know if it was my mind playing tricks on me, if I thought I heard a really soft contact call from a lion. Yeah, Andrew, we don't see them so frequently here in the Sabi Sands. It is always cool when you do get to see them. And what's incredible in this area, in the Sabi Sands, there's reports from some of the old hunting logbooks, like in the 50s and 60s, they were still seeing herds of between 15 and 20,000 zebra and wildebeest in this area. It's so funny, I can hear music. Okay, I'm going to drive forward a little bit, just check the crest here on quarantine, that sort of top part there. And then if there's nothing there, we're going to move out. I just heard on the radio that there's a herd of elephants at Buffelshoek Dam. Whether or not they're going to stay there for a while, we don't know, but that might be quite a cool thing to go look at. Yo, wildebeest. No, they are not. So even like in the Masai Mara, that's wildebeest and zebra that make that like migration. There's obviously lots of birds, bats that migrate, butterflies. In South Africa there used to be a sort of internal migration of springbok, which got completely stopped by human beings. So there's quite a few animals that migrate, and you'll normally find the migrations go in like an east to west pattern because they follow the rainfall. And a lot of the parks, so if you look at the Kruger National Park as an example, it's very long and thin. So, and one, by putting up that fence, that completely stopped the migration of those zebra and wildebeest. On the Highveld between the Sabi Sands, if you go towards Joburg and Pretoria, when you drive away from here, you kind of go up the escarpment of the Drakensberg, and then you, on the Highveld, there used to be millions of blesbok, which is an antelope that we like. It almost gets written off as a semi-pretty goat now. There were millions of them that used to cover the Highveld, and they would move around that sort of central plateau of South Africa. And those are one of the antelope that historically would have been a keystone species. They would have, they sort of do the same thing that the zebra and wildebeest do in the Masai Mara in terms of keeping that flat grassland, just keeping it open, because they trample all the herby plant, the woody plants that might try and grow. Chris has made his way to Chitwa Dam. You're going to head over and see what's cooking at the dam.
Right, one of my favorite raptors again. Remember we had one yesterday at Treehouse Dam. Yeah, we're here at Chitwa Dam now. Always something busy here. Always something happening. So that's very likely to be a breeding pair, male and female, because they do mate for life, like quite a number of raptor species. I always wonder what the function of that white head would be. Is it potentially, we know white often has to do with temperature regulation. Perhaps they often sit exposed like this to keep the head and the neck cooler, because that might reflect heat. That was a theory that I've heard before. Another theory is as if you look at them onto the skyline when they perch like that, that white almost merges with the sky and it makes them appear smaller than they are. That could be it. Could be for species recognition. That's one of those things we can only really hypothesize and not really come up with a concrete conclusion like this is why, you know. Mints. Yes, there's something about the fish eagle's call, and I mentioned this a couple of days ago as well, that it's sort of like that, almost like that sort of call of Africa. Kind of lost us there for a moment. Just a temporary glitch there. We're back. I was saying that I also love the call of the fish eagle, and it's sort of like that call of Africa. You hear that? You feel like you're in Africa. You know, you can. It's almost like it cements it into your system. Just scanning around to see if I could see Boris or Vlad, and I do not see them. probably got to do with the cool weather. They'll be in the water.
Good idea to lurk around that dam, especially seeing as Kuchava was there with the kill. Normally after leopards have eaten, they'll want to go and drink. But we just had the most mad thing happen. We were just driving and I heard a bird like set out a little alarm, and I looked next to the car and a martial eagle just had its wings. It just went woof, and then went away. So I don't know if it came down for the bird, but because it was so close to where we were, the martial eagle pulled away at the last minute, but then it flew off and it landed way too far away for us to show you, which is a bummer, but definitely got my heart rate up. Very exciting. It's a big old bird. It's a big old bird. Oh, it's too hard. That's the bummer with when you have the roof on for birding. It's so difficult. If the birds are in a tall tree, it's impossible for us to film them. That's what you're going to see. And there was a pair of Wahlberg's eagles there, a pale and a dark morph, which we won't see. Whoa! How's that unit?
So at Chitwa Dam, always nice to spend some time here. So we are just waiting for an update on Kuchava. Sounds like she did move a little bit further northwards. So we will probably head there and investigate a little later as soon as I've got an update from the Chitwa guys. And let's just see if any of the hippos tries to emerge. You just see the nostrils there. Just a reminder, you can send us your questions to #WildEarth as well as on the WildEarth website. And kids, you can still send us your questions to kidsquestions@wildearth.tv. Well, we're probably going to start moving towards where Kuchava was last seen. In the meantime, let's head over to Jonty and his elephants.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, what a treat. We were actually about to start racing to Buffelshoek Dam in the hope of catching that herd of elephants in the dam, but we've just been slightly postponed by this really, really nice male elephant. I did get a whiff of smell from him. It does smell like he's potentially in must. So we'll watch him closely. Such a So it's quite a peaceful scene, hey, watching these big giants. Come on, come up here. Whoa. It might be better that he stays down there for a little bit. He's currently showing us why he's a male. Charlene, I don't know if it's never, but they do have very, very good memories. But I don't know if anyone's ever done a test to see if it's never forget. But like that's why often it'll be the oldest female that'll be the matriarch, because she's obviously had the longest time in that area and will remember where sort of water points are, where good feeding is. And so she's the one that will lead the family around in their home range. And I do know they did I remember they did a thing once, and it was talking about how elephants remembered the smell of people. And obviously, in this example, they used names, but the elephant wouldn't have been using the name, it would have just been associating the smells. But if you took myself, Chris, Craig, Darby, BK, and we went to this elephant where they did this experiment, and we went and met the elephant, it would smell all of us. And then they do a thing right there where you put your hats on the ground, and then they give the elephant a sort of command. They'll say, give John T his hat. And the elephant would pick up my hat and give it to me, and pick up Craig's hat and give it to him, pick up Chris's hat and give it to him, and so on. And they did that, and they found that the longest time from the first time they did it to doing it the second time, and the elephant was doing it correctly, was 6 months that it would remember the smell of the hat and which person it must go to. That's pretty interesting. I don't know how it pertains to their life in the wild. They're not walking around handing hats out to people, but just really good example of how good their sense of smell is and how their brain is operational. I'm reluctant to go down in there because I've got a big feeling that Rusty will lose signal. So was that the elephant will stop going into must? No, they once they get the age, it's normally around sort of 18, 19 years old might be the first time they'll come into must. And often with the younger they are, they kind of, because you can imagine their whole body is just flooded with testosterone and they almost don't know what to do with it. And in a natural environment, there's always the presence of those older bulls, like the dad, the father figures, who kind of show them and teach them how to how to behave as elephants. And there's been a lot of studies that have shown just the presence of a fully mature bull will actually knock a younger bull out of must, because it's quite interesting. They don't have to be in must for a mating to be successful, for the female to fall pregnant. But 99.6% of elephants that do successfully breed are males that are in must. So it's quite an interesting design in the species to make sure that, I'm going to try to poke our nose in here a little bit, to make sure that it's different males that are breeding every time, but also that it's really strong, powerful genes that are being passed on. And that must, some elephants they'll come into must for 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Some elephants come into must for a couple months, which must be slightly horrific to be sort of that fired up for so long. Oh, I don't know if that window, the pole's going to be outrageous. Let's see if we're going to get a gap through here. Oh no. So let me just reposition. I'll try to let you shoot straight over the bonnet. Is that alright? Oh, he's got a big head, eh? So I'm busy looking at his temporal glands. He might have just come out of must maybe, or he's just starting. But normally when they're fully blown, those temporal glands behind the eyes will be secreting, but he'll also be constantly dribbling urine, which has got a very, very strong smell. And at the moment he's not dribbling urine, he's just sort of airing himself. And I feel bad for him. It looks like there's a tick on that. That's not where you want a tick, pal. Jeepers, there's 3 of them on there. That's not good. He needs to go for a mud wallow to get those pulled off. So while we just spend a few moments with this elephant, you're going to head over to Chris.
As promised, we are back, and she's left the area of the kill. I'm sure there's her. Good job. The cub is somewhere around here. I see it moving in the grass there. I know Tundi is around in this region because she was very close to the kill this morning. So there it is. Oh, I'll just wait it out. Maybe the little one will eventually step out of the grass there. But how awesome is this? lovely, man. That is just. Dis mos Johan hierdie, né? Pieter. Pieter. Dan nie man, ek dink ek weet nie, ek is Right, it's been a long time since I've seen leopard cubs, eh? Let's look at that. Yeah, it's amazing. This morning and yesterday evening we had such a lot of action around that carcass. Now they're all just sleeping, full belly. Hi, Wild Dog Wizard. I'm not entirely sure. I mean, remember, this is the first time I've really seen this. I'm sure there's some of the viewers who would remember, who could comment on that. I could also ask around me as well, but normally it would be more than one. Usually 2 or 3. She's a stunning cat, I must say. Hi, there's Sandy. Yes, now she's a very pretty cat. And they all are. You just get these certain individuals that just seems prettier than others. Now she's a stunning cat, eh? Look at that. Well, Tandy is still my favorite. I like animals with attitude. Just feels like she's got a little bit more attitude compared to the other ladies. Look at that. What are you seeing, little one? These moments you don't really want to talk, you just want to watch. Good day, Roland. Well, the male leopards don't really take part in any activities with regards to rearing the cub. Um, what they, once they've mated with the female, that's as far as it goes. Um, However, they still maintain their own territories, which engulfs that of females, often overlaps with several of them. And their job is to make sure that no other males enter that area, which could be a threat to their cubs. But as far as rearing the cubs, they take no part in that. Absolutely all of it comes down to the mum. Things those male leopards have much larger territories than that of females, and it takes a lot of effort to maintain that territory's integrity. So it makes sense, rather than playing part in rearing a cub. Remember, they're going to have multiple cubs in their territory. They're not only going to mate with one female. So therefore it won't make sense to stick to a female and help her rear the cub, because you're going to have 3, 4, 5 odd females within your own area. Your mum's going to become the next sort of mock antelope. We'll get back to the males just now. Just want to watch this. Hi there, horse lover 63. Yes, adorable. There's few things as cute as baby leopards, eh? That's just so adorable, eh? Sweet. tall grass right in front of the eyes, like you want to just grab it and take it away. No, this is absolutely amazing. There's no words to describe this. This is so, so, so cool.
Okay, so we just came to check Buffelshoek Dam. There was a report of a herd of elephants. We could see where they had been drinking. There's lots of dung on the side of the dam. And then I saw one elephant in this drainage line. So we looped around and now we just stopped and just listening if we can hear them feeding or moving. So I'm just going to keep quiet for a little bit and just listen. You see that tree behaving unnaturally there? You see the dark dead branch? There's a tree moving. I think there are one elephant there. So that area where Craig is zoomed in on, somewhere there is an elephant, but it's so thick. There, see its ear. Look at that sneaky little puffadder.
This cub just seemed to just go down a little bit and it's much less restless than the mum. Mum's just out cold. She's sleeping. She is not in the mood for anything other than resting and digesting. Her tummy is full of diker meat. This one's very interested in what we're doing. It keeps on watching us. So. This is very entertaining. It's like I said, you just want to watch it. You don't want to talk. You just want to go and cuddle with it. No, we're certainly going to be spending some time here. So let's head to Jonty, who seemed to have found his elephants.
So we were just sitting in here, we just started hearing these elephants communicating to one another. And so we've got visual of these two. Every now and again we can hear some of the others scattered around this drainage line. And it's just started spitting a little bit. It's also incredible how quiet they can be at times, and other times they make so much noise. Because I see there's another two moving through to the right of the first ones we're looking at. And it seems like they're generally feeding towards us, so we might get quite lucky here again with these elephants if we're just patient. Oh, they are loving this green grass in here, eh? Must be so lush. Sandy, it's quite a sight. It's like what I was talking about earlier, the contrast of these dark elephants, because they must have been spraying themselves with water, and this beautiful emerald color that we're sitting. It's amazing. That one is just completely manhandling a buffalo thorn, which is, it's got hooked thorns on it. If we had to go walk through there, it'd be bleeding. This young elephant's just putting it in its mouth. You can hear there's a fork-tailed drongo calling there as it flew away. Roland, they use their ears for, the main function is as a cooling function, when they're flapping their ears, they're circulating blood through because it's a much thinner part of the body. So the flapping of the ears cools the blood down, and then that blood goes back into the body. Like a big, the ears are essentially big radiators. But you can see when they stand tall and hold their ears held outstretched, it makes them look even bigger. So it is a threat display, and shaking their head. Obviously the ears. It's a huge show of how big they are, and they're just sort of saying, "You need to back up, otherwise you've got to deal with me." Um, if the elephant was very angry and it is charging, those elephants normally hold their ears flat against their body. So like uh, you could generalize and say the warnings are with big ears held out wide, shaking their head, but once it turns serious they actually fold them against their body. But there's a lot of other signs in their behavior. So the way this little one was walking at us now, when they just hold their ears out and are not flapping them, that's them sort of showing how big they are. And this one did do that, but then thought it would just carry on eating. You can see our spider web of bungee straps keeping the roof on. But the big cows come through a little bit closer. Absolutely, Sir 50. This is the time of abundance. I mean, I don't think elephants struggle too much all year round. They just feed on different parts of all the trees and grasses. But it certainly is a great time for them.
Okay, little one has gone into the grass again. Mum's up and just keeping a watchful eye. We're starting to drizzle where we are. And luckily we decided to keep the roof so we don't have to go anywhere. Very calming, I must say. You can sit here all day. And rhythmic breathing. There goes Mum again. Look at that, you can barely see it. Flat. You see that ear sticking out? Is it an ear? Hi Mary, yes. And we will obviously keep tabs on her movement and so forth. Now females, there's a chance that it might settle within our traversing area. It will often happen as it starts getting to about 13, 14 months or so, and this varies from cub to cub and mum to mum. They'll start spending more and more time away, but it's almost as if these females tend to sacrifice a portion of her territory, a small portion initially, for the female cubs to just get a foothold, and then once she's fully grown up, she will then have to sort of fight her way in and extend that, maybe a bit of her mums, maybe a bit of the neighboring females. Therefore we see a lot of related females in a geographic area, because they seldom disperse too far from where they are born. It's usually neighboring territories, or maybe they found a vacant little spot in the same region, whereas the young males often move far away from where they are born and eventually settle. And it takes longer for them to settle as well. They spend a longer time as young males that's semi-settled before they really gain territories of their own. And that's just a way to shift genetics far away from where you are born, whereas the females stay in a geographic area, males move far away. Research throughout Kruger has shown that some males have settled close to 100 kilometers from where they were born. Up to, or even more sometimes. Some not all of them. Some, I've seen cases where young males settled in the immediate area, close to where they are born, and you still get to see them as they grow up. But often, once they dispersed from the males, we see them around for about a year or so, and then they're gone. Most of the females we tend to usually see throughout. So yes, we'll hopefully be following this cub. Eventually it will get a name as well if it settles here. All depends on which direction she goes. Now let's link to John T, who's still following his elephants.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, these elephants are making it very hard for us to follow them, but let's just watch. Look at this little one. It's tossing around a bit of bark there. Oh, there's a hyena whooping there. I do love spending time with these elephants. I'd love to, I don't know if they're watching, but it's a good friend of mine. It's her birthday today, Jemima Sargent. Happy birthday, Jem. This little cute elephant calf is for you. We can pretend that it's its birthday as well. But I really hope you're having an awesome day and Callum's behaving himself. But Jemima and Callum, they live in Hoedspruit as well, and Jemima does these incredible paintings, and she's done some of elephants and elephant calves in particular. You must check her out on Instagram if you would like to see some of her paintings. Midnight Milk Bar. I think they're on Midnight Milk Bar as her Instagram handle. Really, really talented human being. Let me just reposition. Yeah, they will. The females, they make the core of the family group, the herd, and they'll be with that for life, which is really, really cool. It's the males who kind of they move in and out of the areas. There was a real strong smell of elephant dung there. It's so hard because they do just keep moving. So these ones are approaching the dam again. So I wonder if they weren't part of that initial group that was called in earlier. I'd love to see them drinking and playing in the water. Oh, I always worry when their tail levers up like that to the side. It often means they're about to make a deposit. How selective she's being with her trunk. It's amazing because inside that bush willow, it's mixed with a buffalo thorn. She's actually pulling a buffalo thorn branch can see she does chew it quite carefully. And washing it down with a bit of bush willow. I guess that's like having a spicy curry with a bit of yogurt afterwards. A hot bunny chow from Durban with a litre of milk to follow. I'm just going to go forward. I know it's just a view of her bum. We got a view of 3 bums, but I'm going to try and go ahead. Oh, look at this little one. Oh my word, the elephant just jumped. This little elephant just reared up on its back legs. What I'm going to do is slowly go past them. I'm actually going to go wait at the dam. Well, let's see. Let's just not rile them up. But we'll go wait at the dam and see if this group is going to make their way there.
Right, our leopards both now gone to sleep. And now we're just sitting here, literally enjoying it, listening to the birds around us. At some stage they will probably start moving again. The thing is they're very full, so at some stage they will need to just rest. So I think there's not going to be a lot more movement here. Maybe the odd moment or two where the cub gets up. But typically this is what leopard sightings would be like if they are fully eaten. Same as lions, they sleep. They need to now rest and digest. Might even try and reposition a little bit. And I think we should probably reposition. Maybe go around this tree. But they're both flat down now. They not been moving the last minute or so. Well, at least since that previous Gandra vehicle left, they were just flat down sleeping. Good afternoon, Philip. Yeah, when you can drive past here and it'll confuse it with a rock or something. When even the cub, I mean, we cannot even see it. It is just gone. Even now and then there's maybe an ear moving. It's somewhere there.
Okay, so we've made our way to the dam, which from where we were last with the elephants, it's less than 100 meters. It's like maybe 70, 60 meters. And we'll see if the gamble pays off. So we're just enjoying some hippos.
Cruise camp just stopping at Jordan's While.
Thank you. Cruise camp stopping for a break. We're just enjoying these hippo. There's some Egyptian geese. A grey heron flew over. You can see the rain starting to fall, but not hard at all. So we really are parked. It will be fantastic if these elephants come out. If they don't come out, then we'll just carry on. And we have been doing sort of loops around Buffelshoek Dam the last few days. Between myself and Chris, we are checking this area every day because this was the last place Tlelamba was seen with the new cubs. It's a female leopard that was last seen around January. She hasn't been called in since I arrived back at Juma. So it's definitely, about time that she should show herself somewhere. Jamie, sometimes the hippos do chase birds away from the water. They sometimes can be a little bit cheeky and chase them away. I've seen them chase buffalo out of the water. The only thing that they really will stay away from in the water is elephants. If elephants come and start swimming in here, the hippos kind of let them do that. But if anything smaller than a hippo comes in, sometimes they will definitely try and chase it away. That bar makes it look like we're looking through an old VW split window combi. It's amazing. This type of weather, we often expect to see the hippos actually coming out of the water much earlier because it is so nice and cool. The clouds are completely blocking the sun out, and especially with this light drizzle, it will feel quite nice on the hippo's back. So sometimes you find them lying outside the water on days like this. Okay, I'm starting to think that these elephants are not coming. What I'm going to do is give them 2 more minutes and then we'll carry on and go check a different area. A grey go-away bird just flew through the frame. It's landed on that buffalo thorn tree. Shame, I always feel sorry for them because the rest of the birds in that family, the Tarako family, are really, really beautiful. I'm just going to show you quickly in the book the other members of that family. Well, why can't I find them in the book here? The color difference is, it's ridiculous. The grey go-away bird is like this drab grey, and the others are so beautifully colored. For some reason my eye is not there. 232. So I'm just going to put it up on the dashboard here. Look at the difference in color. So in South Africa we'll see the Knysna Tarako. The one we see commonly in this area is the purple crested Tarako. And then there's the old grey guy. I mean, it is a beautiful looking bird, but much more drab than the others. While we wait 1 more minute for these elephants, you're going to head over to Chris, who's on a mission, it sounds like.
Right, so we came to the area where we heard those impala that was vocalizing. We've left Kutchava, she's flat sleeping. Now, we're right on the boundary on Garryman again, so north of us, where this kudu bull is Torchwood. And we heard a leopard vocalizing in the valley below us here. Relatively far in the direction this kudu is looking. We saw the impala back here. So we're not sure what's happening, whether there's another leopard behind us We know Tundi was in the area where Kuchava had that kill. It could be her looking for a male looking for her. But wow, look at this fantastic kudu bull specimen here. Big guy, look at that neck and that mane on the throat and on the back. This is impressive. Not sure if my dad's watching, but this is something that he would really appreciate. It's his favorite antelope. I mean, it's a lot of people's favorite. Just look at that. How can it not be? Hi there, Leslie. Yes, absolutely. Especially impala, kudu, bushbuck, nyala, especially. In the alarm call, you can pretty much assume that there's a predator around. The key is to find the predator from there. If you're close enough, and you can find them, and they'll be looking in the direction of the predator, so you can then while they're alarming, and then it narrows down a specific place where you can look. The same with monkeys, the vervet monkeys. They also a lot of times, alert us to the presence of predators. The thing is, the monkeys will alarm for snakes as well, and eagles and so forth. So if you don't know how to distinguish between the calls, and I've met some of the trackers in my career that could tell you, no, that monkeys are alarming for a snake or for a leopard or a hyena or whatever. I'm dead honest. I've never heard any difference, but these guys were right. But kudu especially, when they do that bark, it's leopard or lion. You can pretty much be certain. I'm going to stay with this kudu for a little bit because I'd like to just observe his actions. We know there's a leopard around, at least in Torchwood. It might be coming our way, but that's not why these impalas were alarming. So we're going to keep it on the kudu and see what happens.
So we're still waiting. Our minute turned into 2. We thought we'd give these elephants a little bit longer, but look at this beautiful red-billed buffalo weaver. It's busy preening itself. While I'm watching this buffalo weaver, I'm just listening. I can hear the elephants feeding, but they're still not coming. So I think this is the final sort of chance for them, and then we will carry on. Beautiful pied kingfisher just joined the branch. It's quite cool to see two birds like that next to each other.
This kudu is very, very nervous, and we did hear a leopard well into Torchwood, but the impalas are just behind us that we're vocalizing, and this kudu is very nervous, and it's not us. The only problem is we cannot go there. It's not within our drivable concession areas. Well, we had a fantastic leopard sighting. I mean, that was really super. Always nice to get another one. Well, you can't get them all, I suppose. It's so frustrating knowing there's a leopard right here somewhere. Like the other day with that nyala that was barking, and we could see the nyala barking, and we just couldn't find whatever they were barking at. Hi, Vera. Well, they want to get a visual of the predator. So, obviously what's potentially happened here is the impala saw the leopard and the kudu didn't. So he's now trying to figure out where the leopard is. If he can see the leopard, it's fine. It's the leopard you don't see. Because you can move into any direction, you don't know exactly where it is. Then you might run the danger of ambushing. You know, you might walk into it. So you'll often even see impalas, when they see a leopard moving, they'll follow it for a bit to make sure, hey, this thing's moving away from us. Remember, leopards need to get extremely close. I'm talking meters from the intended prey. They can't start running from 50, 60 meters. By the time they reach where the antelope were, they would be out of steam, and the antelope long gone. These antelope, even though their top speed is slower than the leopard, that leopard can only maintain it for literally a few meters. It's a quick, explosive run, very quick. So they need to get very close. If they can maintain visual, if they can keep visual on an animal, a leopard, let's say 30 meters plus, they'll be safe, and they know it. All right, we're going to go through a huge dip, so we're going to lose signal. So let's go to John T on his Bumble.
Thank you, Chris. Yeah, I mean, what Chris is talking about, alarm calls are definitely a great way of finding predators. Look at this. I just want to have a look myself before I reverse back. But that is amazing. There's a big hole on the side of the road there. That's actually made by elephants. They've been digging in there. They might have just been throwing it on themselves. There might have initially been a plant that they dug out the roots or the bulb to eat. They've just dug a hole, and you can see where they've been flicking the dirt on themselves. That's pretty fresh. So that could be the other part of that elephant herd that was drinking. So they might be in this area. It would be very cool to see them. How cool is that to see, eh? Right on the side of the road. So I was just saying, yeah, we we rely heavily on alarm calls, and you always find certain species of antelope you sort of trust more than others. In this area we often find leopards because of impalas alarming, but impalas can also be a bit, sometimes they just freak out for nothing. Kudus are always reliable. Kudus don't lie. Waterbuck, every time I've followed a nervous and snorting waterbuck, I've found a predator. And then obviously monkeys, they help us, birds help us. Birds can be a bit trickier because they will alarm for a whole variety of things, whereas the antelope are alarming for predators like lion and leopard specifically. It is really, really interesting. When I went to India, it was you get so excited because it's very different sort of experience. There's no private lodges, so I'm just changing this seat here. There's no private lodges, so there's no radios. The guides are not in communication with each other at all. So it's quite a, what's the word I'm looking for? It's quite a raw experience. There's also a lot of other vehicles, and when you go, you have a driver, and then you get a national park guide who comes with you, and they're the ones who know the roads and know the area and everything like that. And so if you find tiger tracks, say that they cross the road here, the national park guide will just start alarm calling like a cheetah deer. I think let's actually go along Drakensberg. So he just starts belting out alarm calls, and then the other vehicles all respond to him doing that. And then he'll tell them, oh, the tiger's crossed this road, let's go check. And then you check the next road. If the tiger's crossed that one, then you go to the next road. But then you wait. Once you've found the next road where the tracks haven't come out, you just sit and wait. And it gets so exciting. Sorry, we lost the signal there. So I'll say in the bush, it's thick like this, but maybe even higher. It's like Sorry, we lost signal again. This is one of the hardest times I've had to work to tell a story. The old story installment. But, so like I was saying, the bush, it's very thick and could be sort of 2 or 3 times the height of this. And so you're waiting, and it'll be a long stretch of road, much longer. Imagine this sort of 300-400 meters that you could see straight. So there could be 20 or 30 cars parked waiting. Everybody's waiting because now you know the tiger's coming this way. And you sit and then you start hearing alarm calls, and the guide gets so excited. You hear him, he says, cheetah, spotted deer, langur monkey, jungle fowl. And he's just getting more and more amped, and you waiting, and like it builds because it gets closer and closer and closer. And then, boom, a tiger walks out, and you literally lose your mind, and the guides go completely nuts. Tiger! That's like, Jonty, there's a tiger! And I said, I can see it, Ritesh, I can see the tiger. It's on the road. But it was epic experience. So like the alarm calls can really make an experience so good. But I must say, I got a big, well, I didn't get into trouble. I got in trouble with the people I was traveling with, because when I was in India, the animals sound so much better in the Indian accent. And then the guys would be like, do you want to see a tiger? That sounds so good. Rather than saying, do you want to see a tiger? It's so boring. So I started putting on an Indian accent like a real pillock. But, yeah, it was good fun. I'm glad Craig was laughing, because like I said, it's always hard telling a story to a camera. If FC tells me they lost signal again, I might just jump out of a moving vehicle.
Yeah. We are now just bumbling around on Chitwa, exploring the place a little bit. It's literally enjoying different scenery. The bush is slightly different to what we see up further north in Djuma. It's a slightly different arrangement of trees and plants. Some more nice open areas, big dams, just different. Not better, different. Quickly go over the dam wall. Been here earlier. I'm gonna go and try the open areas a little further to the southwest of Chitwa. And see what's up there. I know Marips likes to hang out in this region lately. Never know. Maybe we catch up with him. You never know.
Oh, I just saw a waterbuck walking through the bushes there. I'm sort of torn about maybe if we should go check. Oh, this waterbuck's walking through some pretty thick. Oh, there it goes. Oh, I don't think we're going to have a good view of that waterbuck. I'm torn as to, we've got about half an hour till sunset, so if we should take a turn to the hyena den and see what's happening there. I know Chris was lucky there. Oh, excuse me. Chris was lucky there this morning. You never know if lightning will strike twice. I must say, I've been there a few times. I'm always hopeful that there's an adult there so that I can actually see the cubs properly. I've just seen the top of their heads. So maybe that is what we'll do. We'll aim to go that way. Yeah, I think it could. If it's a very, very relaxed and habituated leopard, it might just make it move off for that sort of instance, and it would probably calm down again. But a leopard that's kind of busy being habituated, yeah, a bad experience with the vehicle could definitely throw your whole sort of careful approaches and being quiet in the car and all that hard work that's been done. It could probably throw you 6 months to a year off of your goal. 100%. And I've seen on a lot of reserves where they fenced reserves, there has to be active management that goes on in terms, especially with predators, where they might have to contracept females and put collars on and off. You see, I've been sitting with, it's happened with lion and leopard, where you were sitting with it and it was completely relaxed. And then all of a sudden it would get up and then just skulk away, like quite quickly. And then we would hear the conservation team vehicle come driving along the road. So they even will be able to differentiate between the sound of the vehicles. And if they hear that vehicle, that's always sort of, every time they see that vehicle, they wake up groggy or something. They definitely get affected by that. It's a really good question. So I'm actually going to go out off of the smaller road onto the cut line because I want to make sure I get to the hyena den still with a bit of light. Pat? Yeah. With rhinos, they'll often put the collar on their foot. But yeah, I've seen every sort of mammal that we see out here, I've seen with a collar on that they make a plan with. It is possible. It's amazing, it's gone out the top of my head now, but like an elephant collar is a huge thing, and it's so heavy. Obviously because they're so big, it's like just wearing a necklace. But down to cheetah. Cheetahs often wear collars that could be used on caracal as well, like a much thinner collar, so there's much less of an impact. After seeing that really pregnant hyena this morning, I'd love to know where she's gonna go have her cubs. Yo, she was huge. You're gonna head over to Chris, who's busy bumbling on chitwa.
Alright, seems like Jonty is having a very nice little bumble there. Lots of stories coming out there. Typical of Jonty. And we're doing exactly the same. I'm exploring Chitwa at the moment. I was just telling David that I don't come down here a lot, and it's a perfect time while we're down here. We've had a lovely leopard sighting to just explore it a bit. And just drive some of the roads I've not seen before, and then maybe later we'll just quickly get back to Kuchua, if she's still around obviously, and see if there's no further movement. Just myself and Davi communicating. He's using his extensive knowledge of the area to tutor me on the roads there. No, I mean, there's a lot of areas at Chitwa that I've not seen yet, and sort of explained to him which ones I've driven and where I've not been before. Because normally when I come down here, I ask for an update, and often there will be a sighting already, and I just go to the sighting and from there back to Djuma. And what I should have probably done is, in between game drives come, you could probably drive it once or twice. Hi, Antique. I've done a few photos myself in between drives. So yes, I know it's 3 on her right hand side, our left. I don't see the other side, but I've also looked for some other markers as well. General appearance, a few other things that so I'll just, all the leopards that I've seen, I've got some good photographs. Not good necessarily, but good enough to set up our own little booklets with spot patterns. I mean, we can get that. I mean, there's a lot of media groups where people share existing media ID kits that they've done. I know there was at one stage one in circulation among some of the fans. It's just, that's a thing that I've done everywhere where I've worked. I just felt if I set up my own kit with my own photos in sightings, where I tend to memorize it easier and far more efficiently. Daria, we still on the property? No, I haven't seen anything. we're just stopping to just listen out again. You know, we've heard that leopard earlier, not in this region. Just note how quickly it's changed from that open area where we were just now to near forest. Like dense. This is where we had Tundi the other day. I remember this when she gave us the Tundi slip. It was right here somewhere. It's up here. Hi, Dunkin' Donut. No, I have no idea. I will ask around for you. Who's the father of that cub? I don't have that info. I'm not sure if any of our viewers might have recalled mating or who it might have been. The area-wise, tortoise span spends a lot of time here. You know what? I can tell you which males often move in this area. So yeah, there's quite a bit of tortoise span movement here, looking at the sighting in October. In terms of adults, my reaps spends a lot of time here. So I would almost guess that it would be tortoise span. But I don't know. I'll find out for you, if anybody does know.
So how cool, I was just saying, I hadn't seen an adult at the den and we have been spoilt. We've just arrived. And it looks like one of the cubs is busy suckling. Yeah. The mom looks fast asleep. I was trying to figure out what part of the cub I was looking at, but you can see the ear on the right, and then there's the eye, and obviously the mouth is closest to the mom. So how spoilt. We've been pretty lucky. There is a adult home and the cub is just suckling. You can just see the top of its head there. I'm hoping that once they've finished suckling they might play a little bit, but that could be wishful thinking. I know, like with my babies at home, once they were finished having their milk, they just went into a milk coma. But you never know. And like we often think, well, because we haven't seen the mom here when we've visited, doesn't mean that she necessarily hasn't been here over a 3-day period. But hyenas can deal with, the cubs can deal with the mom being away a bit longer because their milk is so incredibly rich. So sometimes it's almost worth the wait. It would be interesting to see. I mean, I'm not in the loop with all the hyena dynamics at the moment. When will they first start to appear? So sometimes you see really, really little cubs at the den, but I imagine we probably only see them actually coming out of the hole at maybe 2 weeks ish. I mean, there's probably exceptions. Oh, look at that. Yeah, you can see how the mother's ear's been hammered. Often in hyena altercations, they sort of go for the ear. It's like the go-to grab point when they fight each other. Jeez, that thing's cute, eh? Like a little bear. But I was just saying, I don't know. I'm out of the loop with all of this dynamics going on in this clan of hyena, but you know, the youngsters do inherit their mother's rank. Obviously, especially if it's a female cub. The male will not be as high, but he would be a high-ranking male amongst the males if she is the matriarch. That's what I looked like in my child photos. Took me a while to grow into the ears. Look at those teeth. Yeah, she looks like she's doing very good, hey? I did see that one picture, I think, when Steve was here. She wasn't looking so good. The cub at the back looks like it's had a bit too much milk. It's almost struggling to stand with a ribbon linking it in the neck like that. it's always cool to see that bond between a mom and youngster. Quite a bit of yawning from Ribbon. I wonder if she's not sort of prepping to get going, or to at least move. She might have been lying there for quite a while with the cub suckling. You see that even between the cubs, the one closest to us there was a lot more dominant. Just in that little exchange, you saw how the posture it had, it just looked like a mini adult. Oh, big stretch. Interesting to see if Ribbon walks off, if the cubs will even follow at all, or if they'll just go back down into the mound. Ribbon's tail is not looking so good. A lot of bite marks around her back legs. You can see on her neck and her back, her ear. So we'll have to be quite... Oh, there she's coming back. That's cool. I was going to say, if Ribbon does leave, then we would also make our way out of here.
So glad old John Toe has finally got to see those cubbies. Not sure if he's been there. No, he's been. We still on Chitwa. We're probably going to slowly but surely head back to Djuma. Not rush back. And maybe we can find another leopard there. If we don't, we've had a leopard too, in fact. Mum and cub. And I mean, that was a delightful sighting. Don't want to get too greedy. But I'll always take another leopard. Love them. Get to a nice elevated spot and perhaps see if maybe perhaps we should go and get a nice little sunset going here. That will be amazing. There's elephant tracks all over the place, but I'm not seeing them. Oh, John, she had some elephants. I love this drainage line. It's so pretty. Something's bitten me on my ear. Try this road. No, let's go up there. Right, we are trying to set up a little bit of a sunset, yeah? And can you see that? I think that's going to be exactly what we need. Yes. Oh, this is pretty. This is really, really good. Wait. Darby, have you got a shot there? Shout, eh? Yeah. Get a little bit onto this little apex of this. Oh. Are we cool, that guys? Look at this. People, look at this. This is beautiful. Just gonna have to anchor the car a little bit and sit dead still. Wow, let's just soak that up. How intense are those colors? That's just absolutely gorgeous. really pretty, isn't it? This is by far the best sunset I've had. In this particular shift. It's almost as if those colors are just sort of becoming just richer and fuller in a way. You getting any comments?
Okay, so we've just moved away from the hyena den and we're just enjoying this beautiful sunset. But while we're watching this, I think we're going to do a fast five. So if anybody's got any questions, send them in and I'll answer the first five. Don't make them too hard. At this moment, sun sets. I'm 2,01 or 2,02 meters, somewhere there. Oh, chef lady, Malva pudding every day of the week. Please tell me you can make one and send it to me, or send it to the whole team. With creme anglaise. Actually, or custard. Doesn't really matter. Do you like Malva pudding?
No, it's good.
Craig seems on the fence about that. What's your favorite?
There's so many. How do you choose?
Oh, Craig saying he struggles to choose. I think that's the fast 5 point. It's whatever comes out. And I do like a Malva. Karen, have I eaten any game meat? Yes, I have. Impala, kudu, blesbok, eland. Eland was really delicious. Ostrich. Ostrich has become very, very popular in South Africa. It's very lean. I'm trying to think. I've inadvertently had vervet monkey. That was not on purpose at all. Arnold, often it will be coloration. So normally you would find that, especially with insects and frogs, the sort of bright red coloration. So the animals that prey on those can see in color. So that's how they would tell if it's poisonous. So it's a little bit of a difference there. Venom is something that they would inject in them to kill their prey. But if something's got a toxin on it for when it's eaten, then it becomes poisonous. That makes sense. Was that 5? I think so, huh? So where we were on our way, one of the other game drive vehicles had just called in that lone lioness from the Telemati Pride. Apparently she was lying about 10 minutes ago somewhere around Sandy Patch. So that's where we were going to make our way to and just see what she was up to. I think we'll give the sunset a few more seconds and then I'll carry on. I think before I go off, I heard a hyena calling not far. We're really not far from the den, so I'm actually just going to sit here for a couple minutes and just enjoy the evening sounds that are starting to come out. Okay, so we've enjoyed that bit of the sunset. Oh, it's like the last little bit's going down. We had some hyenas calling behind us, but let's carry on. I want to go up towards Sandy Patch and see that lone Talamati lioness and see what she's up to. I hope she's still there. This might be the time where she should start stirring. We could expect to hear her potentially doing that soft contact call again. I really hope she does get to join up with the rest of the pride. It has been Murphy's Law. We chatted about it before we put the roof on Rusty this afternoon. We said if we put the roof on, it won't rain, and if we don't put the roof on, it will rain. So we've kind of, sounds like we dodged a bit of a bullet. There was a severe weather warning put out for basically the whole of Limpopo, with severe rain. So I wonder if anywhere was affected. I know Lydenburg, Machadodorp, they had some very, very serious hail. You know, I always welcome the rain, but you never want it to come at a destructive cost. That's a little bit too heavy. Sure. And just, so we're about to switch to infrared. We're right at that part of the evening. I don't know if you copied that, FC. Woo. I'm quite excited to put my headlights on. Craig was tinkering on Rusty today because the light bar at the front had not been working, and I think Craig's fixed it. It's not quite dark enough yet to see, so we're going to be in full illumination. Yeah, Paul, I'm hopeful that she's there. I mean, we're super lucky if she's already joined up with the rest of them and they were close by there, but I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think it'll just be her. And we got stalled by that sunset a little bit. She might have already got up and started moving, and the rest of the pride from where she was lying, the direction they had gone the previous morning, the previous evening, they had gone north. So if anything, she's going to get up and go north, and from where she was called in on the radio, it's not too far from our boundary. So time will tell. Oh, that's what we've been missing. I know you can't see it on infrared, but the lights are dominating. So we're about to turn up and go towards quarantine, and then oh, that Woodlands Kingfish is so loud. And then get onto WildEarth access, and then a quick zip down WildEarth access, and we'll be at Sandy Patch, and then all will be revealed. If that lioness is still there, old Silver Eye. I'm glad you found it calming. It certainly has been quite a relaxing one. I think after, not that it was intense this morning, but you know, it was like, I suppose, action, and then it is nice. You sort of come down from that and just enjoy the bush, the time of year, the colors, the sounds. Just those little hyena cubs are cute. Okay, so it sounds like Wendy has come out of the signaled dead zone. You're going to head over to Chris, who's currently bumbling.
Hi, Junty, I am back. Sorry guys, we had a little bit of problems with Wendy getting through to you, but we're back now, it seems. We were in a very remote part of Chitwa, so we're back on Djuma now, so all good. And now we're slowly bumbling along. We are going to try the east and northern parts of Djuma. Just literally chucking a rock into the bush and see who jumps out. It would be nice if Tlalamba shows her face. This is the area where she was last seen. But if not, you know, we're just gonna have some fun. How about that? Starting to get a little dark, so just starting to put on all the necessary nighttime equipment and so forth. So this dim light you would probably not even see a scrub here. Hi there, Shreya. I've not seen a pennant-winged nightjar here yet. I have seen one in the Sabi Sands before, one in the south, and a couple of places elsewhere, but not here yet. In theory, they could be found here. It's not a very common bird to see, but I have seen square-tailed nightjars and I've seen fiery-necked nightjars. Probably will in certain times of the year. See European nightjars. They're usually quiet out here when they're here. They don't vocalize. The call's very similar to that of the square-tailed and the rufous-cheeked, which you don't get here. But that sort of electric, sort of like buzzing, like a, but yeah. But not the pennant wing, not the Djuma, no. I would go ballistic if I see it. You would see me jump up and down like a wild dog in long grass if I see a pennant wing. Very pretty bird. But no, you can, in theory, see them here. It's not outside of their general distribution. So for our viewers, I just need to give you a heads up. We might lose our signal soon. There is some scheduled load shedding. So it's usually just a temporary interruption. So if we do go off air for a couple of minutes, it is due to load shedding. That's when the electricity kicks out and our generator kicks in, and it takes a bit of time for all our systems to restart. So just be aware of that. Well, in the meantime, we are just bumbling and see what's coming up. Let's see who spots something first. And I'm not talking about myself. Yeah, it's going to be tricky with the view that you have there. It would have been nice if it's a nice wide angle. But that's about as wide as we can go. We'll drive extra slow. First thing we see, we stop. How about that? Yeah, you never know what can happen. That's what I love about these nighttime drives. It's a bit of a lucky packet.
Okay, so we are driving along Vuatela access now. We've just come off of quarantine. Let's get the spotlight out. And we're driving towards Sandy Patch, like we said. There is something always quite exciting when you're looking with the spotlight at night. You never know what you might find in its beam. Often guests ask, like, can you really see something moving the light around so fast? Because you're not actually looking for the whole animal. You just want to catch its eyes shining. So that's why you move it around quite quickly. You sort of cover a bit more area. Every now and again I throw it up into the trees in case we might spot an owl. Bush babies would be good. They're much harder to see now in summer because obviously all the trees that they're normally hopping on in winter are now full of leaves. So they've got a bit more to hide behind. Yo, what's the time? I wonder if Ricky's putting the babies down. Thank you, Sir 50. I'm glad you've enjoyed it. Chris, Craig, Darby and I have definitely enjoyed being out this afternoon, that's for sure. Just turning the bright lights off. There's a big herd of impala here, so we approaching Sandy Patch now. Some of them are looking. Oh, I'm just going slowly over this bump. You know, just saying good night to my two little angels at home. It's bedtime for them. They often have their dinner and watch the last part of the game drive. So I hope you sleep well, my little angels. Don't wake up your mother, please. Don't do that. Okay, come on, Sandy. I might have to check with so we also are very close to having a load shedding switch between Eskom power and generator, so you're going to lose us briefly, but we will be back. Please just be patient. That's too funny. Let me go this way so the bar's out of the way. I thought it was a patch of sand, but it's actually the lioness. And there's a hyena calling. I don't know if it's close enough for you to hear. FC is telling me it's just a bit too far. Hopefully it does come a bit closer so you can hear it. There's lions calling. Much further away than the hyena, but there are lions roaring. She didn't even lift her head. Did her ear even move? Shame. You wonder. Sorry about that. I'm presuming that was the changeover in power. So we were just saying that it's amazing that she didn't respond. I mean, she's been looking for her pride. I was just saying, you know, as humans get older and age, we lose, the hearing's not as good as it used to be, and eyesight's not as good. So these animals face the same ailments that people face with age. So maybe she just didn't hear them. And then we also heard a ground hornbill making a call, and I mimicked the ground hornbill call, and that made her lift her head. But it might have been because we were so much closer. It is quite possible that she didn't hear those other lions calling. I struggle to think that she wouldn't care. Normally, if a whole pride's together and they hear the males calling, you'll see they all look, but they don't respond because it almost seems like they don't want the males there because they know if they make a kill or if they are on a kill, that the males will just come and steal everything. My stomach is rumbling. Yeah, let's hope. I mean, shame she looks so little lying out here. Eh? I would love to see them regroup and just see all that head rubbing, and they're so happy to see each other. But watching her like this, not exactly the most riveting viewing. I'm wondering if I shouldn't go drive on the road towards where we heard that hyena calling and just see what's happening there. We can always come back here in sort of 10 minutes or 15 minutes and see if she's up. Yeah, I don't think she's too vulnerable yet. I think she's still in reasonably okay condition. But yeah, as each day goes by where she's not with the pride and not eating, yeah, she will deteriorate quite quickly in that circumstance. I'm just going to drive forward and loop around so we can at least look at her face. Well, let's sit here a little bit longer before we go check. Where's the old spotlight? Better to see her face, but I mean, she looks like she is fast asleep. Okay, that should be. You should be able to see her head there, but yeah, look, I mean, she is flat. Eh?
On the screen, it's on the pole.
Thanks, FC. It's actually on the. FC was just telling us that there was a spider web on the screen, where it's actually on the pole holding the roof up, which means there's probably a spider walking on mine or Craig's head. You can hear these crickets. I'd love to try see one. But it's funny when you think about what is she thinking and is she worried. I don't think so. I mean, she just looks like she's flat out having a good old snooze.
So yeah, we're back on the central parts of Djuma, and now we're just scratching around here and see what comes out. And take it rather slow. It's always nice to check thoroughly so you don't miss anything along the way. And there is an incredible amount of alates out at the moment. And these alates are also called flying ants, although they are termites, they're not actual ants. Not sure if you can see them every now and then flying past. Here comes one. So often after, during and after rain, you'll see them erupting. And what basically happens in a nutshell, these are fertile males and female, ooh, spider web, sorry about that. Anyway, so they erupt after rain and they are the ones who will start new colonies of termites. So they will mate and go to the ground, drop their wings off, dig into the soil, and they'll start new, brand new. They're future kings and queens of these termite colonies. And you can eat them. They're quite tasty. Tastes like peanut butter. Right, sounds like Jonty is going to follow up on some hyena calls, and we are just driving along. Nothing really to report other than a million alates. Just had one in the eye and one was in my mouth just now. I was very tempted to swallow it. So they actually don't taste that bad. It's just weird. But they do somewhat resemble peanut butter. Very good fats and protein in this. So if you're ever out in the bush and need to survive in this type of season, Adelates are good food. They will keep you alive. Hi there, Clara. Adjust my volume slightly, just a moment. He wants to know what type of parasitic birds do we have in South Africa. All right, so I'm going to put my thing down. All right, so in terms of parasitic birds, I'm not sure if you just refer to brood parasites who make use of other species' nests. A few cuckoos, very well known for that. A number of cuckoo species, about 8 or so. Then the widow birds, they do it as well. The indigo birds do it as well, and then the honey guides. So the 4 families that are very well known as a family to do brood parasitism. Right. So that's the only form of real parasitism that we could do. Although you do get a bit of klepto parasitism in a way where certain birds will steal food from others. But it's, per definition, not really parasitism as such. It's more interspecific competition rather than parasitism, stealing food from them. You know, parasitism is, actual parasitism is more when an organism, you know, harms its host. It physically harms its host, but doesn't necessarily always kill them. So stealing food is more competition rather than, I would say, parasitism. But brood parasites, which is those families that I just mentioned, they're very well known brood parasites. Said over to Jonty, he's found something hiding in a tree.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. We've found a chameleon. The chameleon. It's actually quite a big chameleon. It's hanging out on this magic worry tree. I tell you what, it is nice about the infrared is that we don't go and disturb them. You know, if you're shining a light on it now, because they're sleeping at night. So you don't want to be shining a light on them for prolonged periods. Obviously, the light's how we find them because they reflect a sort of different color to the bush. But look at that when Craig zooms out, it just sort of vanishes. We used to be when we were younger, we used to catch chameleons, and my mom had like an outdoor shower, and we'd go put the chameleons in there. And so she would be shrieking. But it was also, you know, we didn't know then, but the chameleons are actually quite territorial little beasts. So this bush that this one's on, this is like his bush or her bush. So you don't want to, if you handle them, which also is a questionable activity, but you want to make sure you put them back in the bush that you took them off of. They are really, really cool animals. What is nice is, like, I don't know if you heard Chris the other day where he found one. If we come and look here, you'd have to look very carefully, but if we came and looked here tomorrow morning, there is a good chance that you would find it. But you'd have to look hard. Often in the day, they're actually active, especially now in summer, they'll be active around in the grass in the base of the tree, and at night they climb up because it's a little bit safer up on the branches. Because if a snake or something was to come slithering up, the branch would move, which would alert the chameleon, and then it might start moving to get away. Yeah, it is fat, eh? Either a lot of insects, or maybe there's some eggs in there. But it is, I must say, it's quite cool to view it like this, and it's not disturbed at all. It hasn't moved a millimeter. Chameleon toes? Yeah, they are cute little toes, and their feet. The other thing we used to do is if you put the chameleon on you, I don't know why, but they sort of climb up, and they'll often go climb onto your head. And those little claws and that clasping of their feet, when they go up your neck, yeep, is it's ticklish. I mean, yeah, I was very stupid when I was younger. I did a whole game drive once in the evening with the chameleon on my head because we found it early in the part of the evening drive. And then it crawled up my neck and everybody was laughing because it was so ticklish. And then it just sat on top of my head. So I just did the rest of the game drive with the chameleon on my head. And I think back to it now, it was not clever. We're just sitting here with this chameleon. That are happening all around us while we a racket. It's unlike them. It's late. You know, they're normally up in the trees by now roosting. So we're wondering what could be what could be disturbing them. I wonder if I should put my hand next to it for reference and size. I'm just taking my earpiece out. Craig will tell me what I need to hear. But check if I put my hand. Oh, there's a lion calling. So you can see that's quite a big chameleon. You imagine its tongue longer than the length of its body, which is incredible. I was just looking around this bush. The lion that's calling, it's quite far away. I wonder if that lioness on Sandy Patch has responded to that one.
Right, so we've got some hyenas here that's causing some havoc here. They've been after some impala, and that's how we found them. We saw the impalas running, and they had a missed attempt there on some impala, and the one just went into the bush here. Can't see it. And still walking on the road. The other one's coming out now. The one is to our left, and there's an impala right there. They literally just walked past an impala. Wow. That's very cool. Because we could clearly see this group of impala, they ran for something, you know, and they didn't alarm, so I didn't know what was up. And then we saw the hyenas approaching. These guys are on a mission. They're moving extremely fast. I might not actually even be able to keep up with them. Hi there, Jackson. Yes, that would be incredible, but I just don't know why they literally just walked past an impala now. Maybe because they were seen already. But I don't, somehow get the feeling they're after something else. They've heard something. They're not smelling around. They it looks like they're listening. So they might have heard maybe lions killed something somewhere, leopard. Not entirely sure what's happening there. Wow, what a fantastic way to end the safari. Now they're definitely on a mission, these guys. And I can't really follow them there either. Anyway, wow, what an amazing drive. I'm gonna put some of this lighting off because I'm just gonna sit here out and chat to you a little bit. Sure. Just a bit of a relief from all these alates and bugs. Got a few in my shirt at the moment as well. I'll try and get it out. Wow, what a crazy end. Crazy day, yeah. Just reflecting on what we've seen. You know, we've had some incredible leopards, elephants, you know, the hyenas. The hyenas just now, I think it's one of them might even be in the belly. I've just got some reports, but comments coming through. I didn't take time to look at it. And what else did we see? We saw that beautiful way the cubs were interacting with the mum, with, you know, the leopard and with the hyenas, both drives. I mean, that was absolutely super.
And the kudu.
And that big kudu male, that was also one of the highlights for me. And, well, another day, another successful day out here in Africa. And I really hope that that would drive you to join us again tomorrow morning, and I'm sure you don't need any motivation to do that. Probably don't even need an invitation. I'm sure everybody's setting their alarms and making sure that they're not going to miss tomorrow morning's live safari. Well, we will, like always, be ready, and we're going to head out early again, and hopefully we can build again on what we've done today. And, you know, a whole new day. There's going to be new things happening, No 2 days are the same. And David and I are going to head back now, and we are looking forward to having a scrumptious dinner and followed by a good night's rest. So good night, everybody. We will definitely be ready tomorrow morning. We'll see you then. And we'll be ready to take you on another safari into this wonderland that is called the African bush. And I, for one, can't wait.